Yo, what is up everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. We've got the league tournament happening tonight at Full Grip. Apparently we've got somewhere in the ballpark of 15, 16, 17 players. And we are getting started very quickly. We've got Nick Hunter is going to be playing against Jesse Parker. And I just got live. And these guys, you know, they love to get started very quickly. So I don't even have the names done or anything like that. So you know, a little bit behind, but that's okay. I know that, hey, Jesse Parker, what's up? His name is already up there. That's what I'm talking about. It looks like he is playing a fire deck, so let's get that Spiritomb off the screen. Maybe change to a Reshiram and Charizard, and we're going to be ready to roll. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Excited for another league tournament. And for those of you guys that don't know, we've got the Full Grip Games League Cup happening this weekend as well. It does look like it is going to be a water deck here on the left versus Jesse's fire deck, and I'm just assuming that there is Reshiram and Charizard in that fire deck, considering most fire decks do play it. However, we have seen some lists lately skimping on the Reshiram and Charizard, so maybe this will be a non-GX version of the Welder deck, a Welder box deck, if you will, maybe just featuring Victini Prism Star and Turtonator. But I'd have to imagine that I think Jesse probably has some Reshiram and Charizards in his deck. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy tonight, guys. Looking for some water here in my studio, but it looks like we're just going to have to wing it tonight. The show, it must go on. Really stoked about tonight. I've got a brand new sub animation, as well as a brand new sub song. So these are some things that I've been working on here at the studio, and I'm really stoked about them. It's a lot of fun, so we'll have to wait and see when someone gets that new sub animation and song going. Yes, no more Run DMC. We've got a new song and a new animation. No more Dancing Pikachu from Detective Pikachu. Brand new. Stoked about it. All right, starting things off, it looks like Nick is probably going to be playing Nagquag. Nagquag, he starts with a Poipole and immediately Mysterious Treasures, a Water Energy, and is getting himself what appears to be another Poipole. What's up? We've got a couple of gifted subs here, Alaskan Hero and All That Chris. There we go. You guys like that? So the idea is we got Whoopers as our sub animations with the Whoop. There it is by Tag Team. Amazing. So thank you guys so much for those gifted subs. That's what's up. All That Chris and Alaskan Hero. Welcome new subs to the gym. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. And my hope is that every time somebody subs, we get like a wave of whoops in the chat, you know, to welcome in the new subs. We get a bunch of whoop emotes, and we get some whoop hype going on. So that is the new sub animation. Thank you guys for showing that off. And what a better time to show off the whoop animation than right now, as we got a whooper hitting the field on Nick Hunter's side. He is going to be playing that Nagquag deck, looking at getting some Quagsires into play here. Got the nice shiny Quagsire as our Quagsire card, though I have not seen one for our tabletops yet. Oh, thank you so much, Blizzy Memes, for the 100 bits. Playing your Pika list with 3 stamps this weekend. Wish me luck. Yes, good luck, good luck. I love that list. Actually, Brady Botner is going to be playing that Pika list tonight as well. Good luck. I think you're in good hands. I'm definitely feeling that deck right now. And thank you, as always, for those bits. Blizzy Memes, second on the bit leaderboard. We see Nick Hunter using Viridian Forest to get some more water energies into the discard pile here, and is just churning through his deck. He's got 2 Poipole in play, a Fighting Quagsire in his hand. That's actually not the Quagsire that we see the most. Some lists are running one Fighting Quagsire just to be able to hit Pikarom for weakness, but to be honest, I don't think Nagquag needs to play the Fighting Quagsire anymore because they just play 3 Caldeo GX, and usually 3 Caldeo GX is enough to beat a Pikarom list, unless, of course, we are talking about the Pikarom featuring Power Plant. Power Plant has made its way into some Pikarom lists, definitely a valid card. We see Jesse immediately going for his Heatran GX. He's got a Welder in his hand and is just going to use Viridian to discard his Fire Crystal to get a Fire Energy out of his deck. Going for Heatran makes me think that maybe this is the non-GX version of Reshizard, that, or maybe he is just going for Heatran because it's only worth 2 prizes as opposed to 3. Either way, should be a relatively tough matchup for Jesse unless he is able to get some quick gusting action on Nick's benched Wooper. I also took a little bit of a look at Nick's hand, and I don't think I see any supporter cards there, so it could be a rough go. Sure enough, we do see that Reshiram and Charizard in Jesse's Stellar Wish here. He is going to be running the Reshiram and Charizard GX, just going for Heatran since it attacks for 3 energy, only worth 2 prizes. Definitely a great starter here for Jesse. And he has to choose what trainer card he's going to select off of these top 5. He's eyeing up Fire Crystal. I think you just grab Welder, right? Like, why not Welder? He doesn't find the switch, so I don't think that Jesse is going to be getting a turn 1 attack here unless he's got a Dedenne or an out to a Dedenne in that hand. Sure enough, there is a Cherish Ball. That's why he did not go for any of those trainer cards in that Stellar Wish. He had a Cherish Ball hiding in his hand that he was going to get Dedenne GX with. Planning on discarding this entire hand here. He's probably going to bench this Victini Prism Star. You don't really want to lose that. He did also draw into a Ninetales, which is a tough loss here with the Dedenne, but you definitely just take that. He does have the Mew from, or the Mewtwo, I should say, from Unbroken Bonds, getting to just throw a supporter card onto the top of his deck and draw into it. Just toss the Welder right into his deck, draw into it right away. Very cool little 1-2 play there. I definitely like that. See, Jesse has the Heat Factory. He's going to discard a Fire Energy and draw 3 cards. Still looking for a switch, which I don't believe he's seen yet. So Jesse might just have to manually attach and pass. I don't believe there's a switch in that hand. And it's going to be up to Nick to be on the aggressive here. We see that pass from Jesse. Does Nick have a playable hand? I see a Mysterious Treasure, and he's eyeing up Custom Catcher. I think Custom Catcher might be the only draw card in Nick's hand. Fortunately, he can actually play his hand down small enough so that he can get an attack off or get a draw off with that Custom Catcher. I also believe, I guess, with the Charge Up, a Retreat, and an attachment, Nick also does have the cards he needs for an attack with Quagsire this turn. Custom Catcher for 2 and finds a Cynthia. That's a fantastic draw here. Actually, no. Nick is short 1 energy for an attack. He would need to evolve his benched Naganadel, his benched Poipole, into a Naganadel to be able to charge up twice. He's at 2 energy now. If he charges up, he'll be at 3. But he has to get that other Naganadel into play. He draws into it as well and has a counter Stadium for the Heat Factory. Fantastic draw for Nick. Another Whooper makes its way onto the bench. Naganadel to boot. And I have to imagine we're going to see that Viridian counter the Heat Factory. He's got everything he needs to knock out this Jirachi. It is a little bit of a tough call. You don't necessarily want to just give up a Quagsire. But Nick's hand is completely played down. It's crazy. He actually does not have a supporter in this hand either. So he may just hold on to his cards. He's got everything he needs for an attack with Quagsire. I'm sure he doesn't want to lose his only Quagsire next turn. But I think you gotta go on the aggressive here. Instead, he just passes with the Whooper in the active. Not really sure about this play. I know he's just trying to be conservative here. But this just gives Jesse another turn. And imagine the worst case scenario. Jesse finds a switch, gets Ninetales into play, and gusts up the Quagsire. Then Quagsire might go down without ever taking a knockout. That would be absolutely devastating for Nick. And I think this defensive play here, it might cost him. And when we see that the Ninetales already coming out into play, Jesse actually just already has it. He doesn't even have to Stellar Wish. He can just gust out the Quagsire with 2 fire energy that he's getting from his deck right now. So, like I said, I think Nick had to go for the attack. Not only would the attack have allowed him to take a prize card, it also would have given him an extra out to draw a card, because taking a prize is drawing a card. So he's drawing dead right now. Sometimes you got to get that extra card from the prizes just to give yourself a shot. We see Jesse completely teeing off here, actually weldering onto his Victini and not going straight for the Ninetales. He's drawing more cards. He's got the double fire. He's going to bring up the Quagsire, though. And the question is he just going to manually retreat the Jirachi? It looks like that is the case. Heatran making its way into the active position, and I don't think that Jesse is very worried about it, considering that Nick doesn't really have a whole lot going on right now. His only Quagsire is going down. He's losing an energy that way. And Nick promoting a Naganadel, showing that he is uncertain of his draws here. He's not thinking that he's going to draw out of it very well. Promoting the Naganadel, showing that he does not have an appropriate attack this turn. And it really hurts here to watch this Nagquag deck just fall apart, not having the supporter cards it needs in the hand to be able to churn through its deck. Reshizard, on the other hand, doing absolutely everything that it needs to put forth consistent pressure. We see Nick going for another Mysterious Treasure here. It's times like this where you just wish that maybe Let Loose Marshadow was still in format. Maybe you could just use that Mysterious Treasure to go get a consistency card. Tell you what, I'm really excited about the new Oricorio GX coming out of Cosmic Eclipse. Oricorio GX will be a perfect search card for Mysterious Treasure and allow players to draw 3 cards when they have a Pokemon that got knocked out the turn previous. So really excited about that new Oricorio coming out from Cosmic Eclipse. If you're looking for Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes, we do have those available for pre-order on FullGripGames.com now. Nick looking for a charge up on the bench, charge up to the active to load it up Naganadels. I would hate to see, turning point for 80. Not going to be doing much to the 190 hit point Heatran GX, unfortunately. And the ball is in Jesse's court now. He's got a skateboard for his Jirachi, giving it a nice free retreat. And then another Giant Hearth in his hand, but deciding that he's going to go for the Viridian first. Nice play there from Jesse, making sure to get some usage out of both stadiums to get 3 fire energy out of his deck and into his hand. This list here looking pretty similar to the list that Robin Schulz finished in the top 8 with at the Sheffield Regional Championships. Of course, Jesse taking some liberties with the list himself. We see that Mewtwo there from Unbroken Bonds, a new inclusion in these decks. And we see Jesse identifying the threat here. The threat is these Whoopers. The Whoopers, there's no way to get them back. If Jesse can just knock out 3 Whoopers, it's going to be game. Nick does not have anything to take the knockout on this Heatran. He's got to have to hit it again for 80 damage with Turning Point. Not enough to take a knockout. He's going to be 30 damage short. And then we know that Jesse is going to have absolutely no problem gusting up that final Whooper with Ninetales, absolutely picking this Nagquag deck apart here. Unfortunate for Nick. He does play, probably a decent chunk of supporters, but just unable to find them here, leaving him just dead in the water. Another Turning Point for 80, and we have got 160 damage on that active Heatran GX. Jesse on the draw with Giant Hearth still in play. Nick sees the writing on the wall. He knows that Jesse is going to be able to get this fire energy that he needs to take a knockout. There's already 3 fire energy in Jesse's hand, and he is just making sure that he's playing his hand correctly here, not making any careless mistakes coming down the line. We see him Giant Hearth for just 1 fire energy, pointing to the fact that it's probably the last fire in his deck. And then he's got like 4 fire in this hand. He's going to welder. He's going to welder to the Heatran, because why not? I mean, I think personally I would rather see a welder to the Ninetales, considering that this Heatran will go down this next turn. But Jesse may actually decide to retreat the Heatran and attack with Victini. I think that's a little bit of... I guess that makes sense. I guess it makes sense. You throw the fire energy back into the deck, and that way you make sure that you don't get your Victini Prism Star knocked out in any sort of weird way. It's also cool because Victini Prism Star isn't actually going to be getting knocked out this next turn. It's going to get to live because Turning Point only deals 80 damage right now. And with Turning Point only dealing 80 damage, Victini and its 90 hit points going to go completely unchecked here with that knockout. Jesse shuffling all of his fire energy back into the deck with the effect of Infinity. And things are looking real bad here for Nick Hunter with the Nagquag deck. We've seen Nagquag be so dominant in some of these fire matchups lately on stream, but Nagquag just showing its true colors here. Sometimes the cards just don't fall in your hand the correct way. We see that Nick does have Dedenne GX in his deck. He does have some consistency cards like that. There's supporters, plenty of supporters in the deck, just none of them are in Nick's hand. He's just grasping at possibilities here. He's got a Mew, which can deal 30 snipe damage to that benched Heatran GX and take 2 prizes, but at this point, it's going to be too little, too late. Jesse's board is way too established, and Nick is too far behind in the prize trade. Putting up a good fight, though. He's going to make sure that he charges up to all of his targets. Thank you so much, Microwave, with that Twitch Prime sub. Let's get some Whoopers in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much to everybody who's remembered their Twitch Prime subs this month. Everybody who supports the channel helped us get those brand new emotes. We've got a brand new Cramorant emote that we unlocked, working our way towards our next goal of the Let's Go emote as well. Jesse going to play some cards down from his hand, using that Giant Hearth, getting more fire energy out of the deck and into his hand. He's got a switch so that he can get some usage out of this escape board here on the Jirachi and Stellar Wish. He finds a Welder off the Stellar Wish, which he can use to draw more cards. But to be honest, Jesse doesn't have a lot of targets that are super good for this Welder right now, unless he's going in with the Ninetales. And it looks like that might be what we see here. Might be going in with the Ninetales. It looks like, I think this is the correct call. Jesse, there's no need to put that Ninetales up for grab. The Heatran can just go down. We know that Nick has a Mew. The Heatran's probably going down anyways. Might as well save the bench. Make sure that Jesse has some fire energies and some welders in his hand for when he wants to bench something new after the Heatran goes down. So definitely a heads up play from Jesse here. He's making the right call, holding on to his welders, holding on to his fire energy, and waiting for something to get KO'd. Eventually Nick is going to have to take a KO here. He's got the knockout with his Naganadel finally, and decides to just play his whole hand down. He's just going to retreat into the Mew and put the 3 damage counters directly onto Heatran GX, taking that knockout on the 190 hit point Heatran, taking 2 prizes in the process. But Jesse has only got 2 prizes remaining himself to Nick's 4, and there's no way that Nick is going to be able to take 4 prizes before Jesse takes his 2. We do see that Tapu Fini coming down on Jesse's side of the field. Looking great there, since Nick does have an Ultra Beast in play. Tapu Fini's attack is going to be able to be used for just 1 fire energy, and I think that's probably what Jesse is aiming for here. Going to retreat into the Tapu Fini after Stellar Wish, making sure he's going through all the steps, doing everything he needs to do. And then Tapu Fini, a nice tech there for Blacephalon GX. Going to take the knockout on that Mew, bringing Jesse down to just 1 prize card remaining to Nick's 4. And Tapu Fini still an impenetrable wall for these Naganadels who are stuck, just dealing 80 damage a turn. Nick was not able to get to his 3 prize turning point turn here. Jesse moving down to 1 prize remaining. Nick still unable to find a supporter. He does have an Espeon Deoxys. We see that he was playing the Espeon Deoxys in his deck and a Psychic Energy as a way to potentially deal some snipe damage, which is pretty neat. You can move all the energy on the Espeon Deoxys and just use its attack as long as you have 1 Psychic Energy, which you can search out with Viridian Forest. Ironically, Nick on the final turn of play does find himself in Erica's Hospitality, and I see a bunch of tech Pokemon in this Nagquag deck. We do see the Naganadel GX, the Espeon Deoxys GX, which seem like really cool ideas, really cool techs in theory, but then, you know, you see the deck just not work and you're like, dang, would it have been better off if we had just had some more supporter cards in the deck or some more consistency options? You really hate to see a deck just dead draw like this. Nick getting himself Ditto Prism Star into play. I believe he's got a Volcanion Prism Star in his hand as well. Just going through the motions of his final turn. we know that Jesse has got 2 fire energy in his hand. So unless Nick has got a reset stamp to 1, then I think he's going to be out of luck. Even with the reset stamp to 1, Jesse is going to be able to turn his 1 card in his hand into a fire energy with the Viridian Forest that's in play. All he needs to do is get a hand with 2 fires, and he's got game with the Victini Prism Star. I don't necessarily see any sort of reset stamp action in Nick's deck. I don't see it in his remaining cards. I don't see it in his hand, which means that I don't think that his list is currently playing a copy of reset stamp, meaning that this is all just taking your turn just to take your turn. We know that Jesse's got the 2 fire. Especially with Viridian getting 1. All Jesse needs is 1 fire in his hand. But it's nice to kind of just show off what your deck may or may not be able to do. And he's going to put that Espeon Deoxys in the active just to try and stall, hoping that maybe Jesse doesn't have the double fire for Ditto, and he's got plenty of fire energy in that discard pile to be able to knock out that Ditto. And that's it. Jesse Parker emerging victorious in round 1 of the Full Grip Games League Tournament, taking down Nagquag with his fire deck. We saw Reshiram and Charizard really putting in the work there. And I call it Reshiram and Charizard just because it's the star of the deck. But really, Jesse used everybody except Reshiram and Charizard in that Nagquag matchup. We saw Victini Prism Star. We saw Heatran GX. We even got to see Tapu Fini putting in some work there. Unfortunate for Nick, just not able to draw the cards to continuously stream Quagsires. And Jesse was able to pick off the Whoopers on Nick's bench before he ever really got them evolved up and rolling. We're going to get Jesse back here to talk a little bit about his Welder Box deck featuring Reshiram and Charizard here momentarily. Hang tight, we'll be right back. Jesse Parker, hot off his round 1 win.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Jesse?
Feeling fantastic.
Saw you got some spicy new cards being you in that Charizard deck. Tell us a little bit about the direction that you're taking the Charizard deck these days.
So I'm trying out the I can't decide whether I like the 17-18 energy build or the 13-14 with the 4 fire crystals better.
Sure.
I think the 14, with the fire crystal, or the 13 with the fire crystals are good because it protects against Wobbuffet and Mew Mew, so you can't get as much use out of your Victini. You could just tech in a Stealthy Hood, but I think it's good to play around like the Baby Blacephalon as like your closer. It's kind of like the idea behind the deck. So it's been okay. I like the fire crystals. They definitely stretch out your fire energies long if you don't have to discard them early.
For sure.
Like in that game, I only had to Dedenne once, and in that case, in that situation, it's great. But yeah, I really like it. And the Mewtwo is really nice too.
It's a cool idea, yeah. You still running Palpad then?
No, I took out Palpad because
just for the Mewtwo.
Yeah, because it seems like a lot of games when you discard Palpad early, and like with the Mewtwo, you have the option of like Pokecomming it back into your deck.
It's cool
for something else, and then using that the Mewtwo later to guarantee you draw the Welder off like an Acrobike or a Stellar Wish
or a Heat Factory.
Yeah, or or a Heat Factory, but I don't know if you're supposed to run both or if like it's supposed to be a replacement for Palpad.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Obviously, it would be terrible to start that.
That would be rough.
I don't know if it's worth the bench space though. I think it's better in a Mew Mew deck because that has bench space to spare.
Right. We've seen people running the Unbroken Bonds Mewtwo more and more, especially in the Mew box deck. Yeah. Cool to see it tried out.
It is.
In the Reshizard deck, but again, that bench space is so critical. We saw you. I mean, at the end of the game, you were winning by a mile, but you were bench locked with your Heatran and your Victini.
That is a problem. Like, I definitely had to bench Victini there, so it wouldn't go in the loss zone. But yeah, the bench space is definitely like a premium in that deck, and I think that it's probably better just to stick with the Palpad. But I'm trying it out. It's obviously it was really nice in that matchup. I knew I was going to get a Welder off my Dedenne, which was great. I mean, I did hit a Welder off my Stellar Wish before I Jirachi'd, but like I didn't have any fire, and I needed to find another fire in a switch card. So in that situation, it was great. It was
we saw it used very well there. And what do you think about taking the Reshizards completely out of the deck? Have you thought about that at all?
I tried it. I did. I saw Zach Lesage. I think I said his name, or Lesage.
It's probably Lesage.
I don't know. I always say Lesage. They make fun of me for my pronunciations. Everybody does. But I saw he did well. He won a cup with no Reshizards. And I tried it out, but I don't know. It just, you don't get a lot of mileage out of your fire energies. Like, you welder, attach, and you hit them, and then your thing gets knocked out. And now you're left with no fire. With Reshiram, even when it did get 2-shot, you still had that extra turn to welder onto something else. Or, it gives you a little extra leeway, although obviously it is nice having a bunch of one-prizers.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think maybe the right build hasn't been found, or maybe I was just getting unlucky in those
At the end of the day, in my opinion, like, Turtonator's just not that good.
Yeah, it really isn't. Yeah,
as a 2-of, it's not that good.
Yeah, you need to see, like, if you draw really well, yeah, the one-prize version is better, but the Reshizard version definitely, Welder was meant to be played with Reshizard, so I don't think we should be trying to
270 hit points is just really tough.
Yeah, it is. Even if they're 2-shotting, honestly, that's fine. I think that's in your favor. So most of the times, if they have trouble, streaming attackers, but
Now you're completely off of any healing cards. In this deck. You don't like Super Scoop Up, you don't like healing.
I've really been thinking about putting them back in. I cannot find, honestly, I think every ability Reshizard build is fine. I think it's just personal preference.
Sure.
Whether you like the healing, whether you like the extra fires or relying on fire crystals, I think it's just personal preference at that point. I don't know if there's any correct build. You just kind of play to the meta. So if you're expecting a lot of Mew, play the fire crystals. If not, just stick with the 18 fire energy. And if you like scoop ups, if you like the flip coins, go with the scoop ups. Scoop ups are strong, especially against like Malamar. They're great against Malamar. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for the insight, Jesse, and good luck in the rest of your rounds. Looks like Orlando does have that Dark Box deck in his hands, so we called it. Got him, and I think, I'm 2 for 2. That's what's up. Orlando with Dark Box, Zach Pra with Blacephalon. Should be an exciting match here. These players shaking hands and getting this party started. Orlando's on the draw with his Umbreon and Darkrai GX in the active position. Zach Pra's got a Poiple online. Orlando taking a good look at that hand, and I sure hope he's got a draw card. Hesitating a little bit always makes you a little nervous. I think he's got a Lily, and he's trying to figure out if he can pare his hand down. I don't think he can. So he has to go for a Hapu turn 1. This is absolutely devastating. We saw Orlando go for a turn 1 Hapu just last week, and it was gnarly. It was not what you want to see. He does have a Cherish Ball, a Mysterious Treasure, and a Darkrai Prism in his hand, though. I think I like the Darkrai Prism and the Mysterious Treasure if he could grab both of those. But it looks like he's just going for Darkrai Prism and a Cherish Ball. So maybe he's just going to Day-Day change this whole hand away using that Darkrai Prism's ability there. And I actually do like this play. If he just ditches this whole hand with Dedenne GX and goes in here, he could give himself the opportunity to draw a Poiple and a Sneasel. And thank you so much, JB Gamble, for those 200 bits. 200 bits for 2 correct guesses. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Gamble, that's what's up. Making your way onto that bit leaderboard this week. Orlando's got the Dedenne GX that he's eyed up there at the front of the deck. I'm thinking that that's what we're going to see. I mean, he has ditched a lot of cards. He Hapu'd, and now he's about to Dedenne, but you got to respect that draw there. I mean, Orlando needs to find himself some cards to set this deck up. He needs some Poiples. He needs some Sneasels. These things are non-negotiable. If he doesn't find Sneasels or his Poiples, the deck will just not set up. Unlike Blacephalon, where Blacephalon, more or less, you can kind of go without Naganadel from Lost Thunder. If you just welder enough, you can make it work. We do have a Ditto. We're halfway there. And I don't believe that he has the other piece. But Ditto is really all he needs because that will allow Orlando to evolve into a turn 2 Weavile GX. Weavile GX, with its ability, Shadow Connection, allows Orlando to move all the darkness energy in play around. And since he got that Darkrai Prism online, he actually is going to have 4 energy in play on turn 2, and Zach has to pass. Zach has nothing in this opening hand. The door is open for Orlando to pop off. If he could just find a Weavile, he's going to shuffle draw now, looking for that Weavile GX. If he gets Weavile GX, this is going to be a quick execution. Zach unable to find any draw cards, any search cards, nothing. 0 cards played from his hand. Just an energy to the active Poipole. You really hate to see it, chat. Zach gonna give Orlando's deck a little shuffle here. And we'll see if Orlando finds that first card is a Cherish Ball. Weavile GX is coming into play. Orlando knows it. Plays that Cherish Ball immediately, and we're getting Weavile GX online. Let's go, chat. Send your Sneasels. We've got Weavile. Or send your Weaviles if you got them. Send your Sneasels, though. Weavile's out here. Orlando setting this deck up beautifully. Going to be using a big Umbreon and Darkrai attack here. On the second turn, 4 energy in play turn 2. It's about as much as you can ask for from Dark Box. And Zach draws into another Poipole. Insult to injury here. Just not much else going on. While Umbreon and Darkrai is just taking no prisoners. Going to be out here using Black Lance turn after turn. Dealing 150 damage. Zach does have a Naganadel. You start to charge up some energy. But I do see a Beast Ring in his hand. He's just like waiting around. He has to wait until Orlando unlocks his Beast Ring turn. You really don't want to be in this spot. Now, I'm not going to count Zach out completely. There are some outlandish chain of events that could happen to allow Zach to pull this game off. It's certainly possible. As Zach draws nothing, Orlando just gets Cynthia. Cynthia is going to continue refreshing his hand every single turn. If Zach draws into a Dedenne GX this next turn, he has to get a Dedenne, I think. His hand is so trash that it literally just has to be a Dedenne. And if he could discard his hand, draw 6 cards, find a Welder onto Blacephalon, and then find a couple Beast Rings, he could knock this Umbreon and Darkrai GX out. But we see Orlando finding Mysterious Treasure, going to get a Poipole into play, which means that even if he were to lose all of this energy next turn, he would still be able to rebound some energy with a potential Naganadel from Lost Thunder next turn. And now it's just going to be time for another Black Lance. Zach needs a Dedenne. It needs to be a Dedenne off the top. Cherish Ball or Dedenne, it's got to be it. I think he finds a supporter, potentially. He's got a Beast Ring, so Beast Ring coming down onto his Naganadel. I think I do see a supporter in his hand. We'll have to see. Zach is shuffling up, though, so maybe it's not a Cynthia. He's got 2 fire energy coming down onto the Naganadel. A beast energy making its way onto the Naganadel as well. A charge up. Oh, is that and a Lily for 4. Zach needs to find like all B strings and a Blacephalon. It's a Blacephalon GX. And he does have a Cherish Ball, but he's getting rid of it because he's got a second one. So we're going for a Dedenne GX here. If he's got the Dedenne GX in his deck, here it comes. Okay, Zach is drawing some cards. There is a shot for this Umbreon and Darkrai to go down. Zach's going to need at least a B string. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's already used his charge up, though, so he'll need 2, I'm pretty sure. 2 B strings off of the 6 cards. That is a lot to ask, considering that he's already played one. I don't think Zach has it. Looking at his hand, it feels real bad. He's got a Heat Factory, though. So, you're saying there's a chance. Does have Heat Factory. All right. Here goes the Heat Factory. Plays the fire from his hand to draw 3 more cards. I do not see a B string there. We do have a Ditto Prism Star. And there is a B string. My goodness. I think Zach is 1 energy short, though. He's already charged up. Umbreon and Darkrai GX. 270 hit points. Zach is already attached for turn. He's already charged up. He charged up before the Dedenne. I remember it. Can he retreat into Heatran? And maybe do it with Heatran? Is that possible? No, it's the same math. Even though he's got Heatran, he's 1 energy short. He's already charged up. One, two, three, 4. Yeah, he's 1 energy short. Because if he retreats the 1... If he retreats 1 energy, he'll only be at 5. 5 energy is not enough for a KO. Absolutely devastating here. I think he's... Ooh, he's moving in. Are we going to see a bursting burn? I am speechless here. I don't know what Zach's going for. It could be a bursting burn. I think bursting burn is probably the most responsible choice with this Blacephalon in the active now. It's certainly not getting out of the active. So now that he's up there, bursting burn may have to be it. I almost wanted to see the Blacephalon just stay on the bench. Hope he doesn't have double custom catcher KO. But this does make things kind of tough for Orlando. His Umbreon and Darkrai is confused now. It also brings that Umbreon and Darkrai down to 250 hit points, which is a really big deal considering that Blacephalon deals damage in increments of 50. So 250 means that Zach will only need 5 energy on both Heatran or Blacephalon GX to take this knockout. Orlando does have the response to Zach's Heat Factory here within Ultra Space. He can get a Naganadel out of the deck. Evolve that Poipole on his bench. Start to charge up more energy that way. Looks like Orlando has Naganadel there on his bench, so he's going to be able to put more energy into play. Weird to not be able to see his deck. I'm assuming that he's shuffling now. Yep. There it is. And then he does not have a switch in his hand. So his Umbreon and Darkrai is confused, meaning that he's going to have to flip a coin in order to launch an attack. You really never want to put yourself in that situation. I think that if he retreats the Umbreon Darkrai, he could just attack with Darkrai Prism. And the crazy thing about Blacephalon is that it doesn't really play any sort of switch cards. So if Orlando were to stick Zach with Sleep from Darkrai Prism Star, Zach could be in a really troubling position as well. He doesn't play any sort of switch cards. And the Darkrai Prism Star has an attack that makes you flip 2 coins instead of 1 in order to wake up. He could get a Mega Sableye and Tyranitar online. And I believe that he's got enough energy to attack. We see the Mega Sableye and Tyranitar making its way into the active position. He needs 5 energy to launch that Greedy Crush attack, and that's going to take 3 prizes, leaving Orlando at just 1 prize remaining. Zach is going to be in a really bad spot here. We see some reading of the cards going on, making sure that everything is kosher. And Zach, unfortunately, again, having to send up that Naganadel. Really tough. Now, if Zach uses Welder, he can take this knockout potentially with Heatran. He needs to get a lot of stuff going, though. Like, he desperately needs... First of all, use that Ultra Space, go get yourself another Naganadel. That's for sure. Gotta do that. But I don't think I see any sort of... Oof. This is horrible. Having to gust up the Weavile. I think that... Oh, this is just really tough. He gets Naganadel GX into play on his bench. He can use Ultra Conversion to draw some more cards, but he doesn't have any in his hand. It looks like he's just going to be using Lily for a few here. I think he's just trying to stick Orlando without a way to attack, potentially, but that's not really going to work out. Orlando's only got 1 prize remaining. Zach searches for that other Naganadel GX out of his deck. He's going to be able to use Ultra Conversion here to draw 3 more cards. We saw Zach at the tipping point of this game, just 1 energy short. So devastating here. He's going to Day-Day change that whole hand away. There's nothing really it's going to be able to save Zach from this impending doom. Even if he takes this knockout with Heatran, the Heatran is just going to get knocked out by the Mega Sableye and Tyranitar. It's already got the energy it needs on it. So maybe Zach is just going to save face, take a knockout here with Heatran GX, but we can expect Orlando to just promote the Mega Sableye Tyranitar and take this out. Really horrible. Zach preferably would not have wanted to play those double custom catchers. He only had Lily in his hand to be able to draw, so he was trying to give himself more options to draw, and his hand was 2 Welders and a Lily with no fire energy, so he had no way to get fire energy on into his hand to be able to use the Welders to take that knockout on the Mega Sableye and Tyranitar. So a great game from Orlando, winning with Dark Box. We got to see Mega Sableye and Tyranitar coming in clutch to take 3 prizes on a Blacephalon GX. Umbreon and Darkrai putting on the pressure early. Got a turn 2 attack with Dark Box. He's been playing this deck every week, so I'm anxious to get Orlando back here. Talk a little bit about his experience with Dark Box. We'll be right back. Got Orlando here 2-0 at the league tournament.
Yeah.
There you go, Orlando. We were just laughing about it before we went live. You've been 1-0 so many times. Made your way on the stream so many times, and it never panned out, but we got there today.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was, I mean, unfortunate for Zach. I mean, the start he had.
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was bad. When he didn't get Blacephalon until turn 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I think I could just keep this momentum going.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we saw, I was having flashbacks to last week. You going for like the turn 1 Hapu again.
Yeah.
Oh, you hate to see that.
It was so bad. I drew my cards. I looked at the top 7. I got my 7. I'm like, I got Lily and Hapu. I'm
right.
Like, oh man,
but you couldn't pair that hand out at all for the Lily.
Yeah. No.
So you had to go for it. Ended up buffing it out. Still got the turn 2 attack with no Naganadels.
Yeah. It was. I was pretty lucky on that one.
It was awesome.
Everything came that I needed.
So you've been playing Dark Box here week after week. Tell us a little bit about your experience with Dark Box. Why you like the deck?
Honestly, I try to fit any card that can get Greninja in it.
Yeah. Love Greninja, huh?
Yeah, Greninja's my favorite Pokemon. So when the Zoroark Greninja came out, I tried just Greninja Zoroark with like Naganados by itself.
Yeah.
So that, obviously that didn't work. So then when Unified Minds came out with the Umbreon Darkrai and Mega Sableye Tyranitar.
Weavile GX.
Yeah,
just
Weavile
giving
GX,
you a whole deck.
It was just there. So I was like, oh, perfect. And I just splash in one Greninja and it just, went from there. And I took a little bit from the Limitless, I think Alex
The
Kreckler.
top 32 list, from Worlds.
Yeah, so I took a little bit from his and tested that and made it my own.
Awesome.
But it pans out pretty well. I feel like I need another Umbreon Darkrai.
Oh, you just got one right now?
Yeah, I have plenty of times where it's prized and I can GX for game and I can't,
Have you thought about maybe just one Mewtwo Mew in there?
I was thinking about that too.
Because then you could just reuse any of them, right? If it gets knocked out, you got another one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I got a couple of those I can probably splash in there.
Because it's cool. Because then you could use the Greninja Zoroark's attack with it too. You could use anybody, and it's kind of neat. But it also is like if you prize the Umbreon Darkrai, it's not that second copy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
yeah,
cool stuff. Well, congrats on the win, Orlando. Pleasure having you back here, and hopefully we'll be seeing you at those top tables in the next couple rounds.
Yeah, sweet.
Now, something that I'm pretty stoked about. All right, we got a little bit of a shameless plug here, but it is what it is. All right, we've got bulk for booster boxes online now. We're going to be doing trading bulk for booster boxes on fullgripgames.com. You can head on over there. If you've done it before, thank you. If you still got bulk lying around your house, we've got it on fullgripgames.com now, and you can trade. You got the banner up here. Trade your bulk for either a pre-order or Cosmic Eclipse, or you can get yourself a Unified Minds. We're actually getting a lot more booster boxes of Unified Minds here stocked up in the store, which I am really stoked about as well. So, yes, we don't have them. Let's see, do we have them now? Yeah, 3,000 for Unified Minds. Yeah, we got them. Let's go. So, if you were looking for Unified Minds, Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, whatever, Cosmic Eclipse, you can trade 3,000 bulk for any of them on fullgripgames.com. There's instructions of how to do that. No, unfortunately, JB Gamble, energy does not count towards the bulk. If you got too much energy in there, we're going to audit the transaction and let you know that we need a few more cards to make up the pieces. But, a bulk, an energy here and there, we're not sweating it. We understand, obviously, things slip through the cracks. But, you can't send us 3,000 energy. Like, that's not gonna work out. But anyways, that's a great deal. If you got bulk lying around the house, make sure to check out fullgripgames.com. You can trade in that bulk for a booster box, or if you're just looking to pre-order an Elite Trainer box or Cosmic Eclipse booster box, make sure to check out Full Grip as well. Did you guys like that banner? I'm really stoked about that banner. That banner looks so nice. That's the kind of stuff I get to do during the day. And this match is underway. All right. Looks like Andrew Barlow is going to be going first. He's got a Heatran GX in the active position, and it's going to be using Welder to accelerate onto it with the Giratina in the active on the left. I'm going to have to say that this is Mewtwo Mew box. A lot of Mewtwo Mew box decks have been playing that Giratina from Lost Thunder in order to get around the Keldeos that we've been seeing in the Nagquag decks. Giratina can get energy accelerated to it with Turbo Strike from Solgaleo GX. So that's how players are using it. Also, an option to ping Pokemon on the defending side of the field with that Distortion Door ability, which is pretty neat. Not an optimal starter, that is for sure. Giratina not who Kyle wants to have in the active position, but that being said, Kyle is playing against an aggressive fire deck, so it's like, okay. You know, at least I got a little bit of a non-GX meat shield out here while I set up my attackers behind it. So maybe not such a bad attacker after all. We see Kyle going straight for that Wobbuffet as well. That Wobbuffet is a crazy tech in these decks for the Victini Prism Star, and he is making it no mystery as to whether or not he plays Wobbuffet. He's got it out here on turn 1. Welder to the Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX as well. Welder's Shady Tail ability reads, as long as this Pokemon's on your bench, Prism Star Pokemon in play can't attack and have no abilities. That is there just for Kyle. You cannot play that, Bills. Stop it. Oh, no, he's playing. Okay. Yes, he can't play the Bills. He tried to play the Bills, but he already weldered. Visualize. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub and for supporting the channel. My dude. So it looks like Kyle forgot that he had played Welder, tried to go in for the Bills analysis. This is a low tier event, so they're not going to go and escalate this to a prize penalty. So they're just going to reveal to both players and replace it. I think they may have started doing reveal and shuffle. That'd be a question for a higher level judge. Not sure if they still reveal and replace, but at least last year I know that the reveal and replace was how they dealt with accidentally revealed cards. Barlow is going to use Giant Hearth here, get some energy out of his deck, and Kyle unfortunately does not actually have any attackers for his Mewtwo and Mew to copy. So that Heatran out there looks like it's going to be getting some energy. Might actually be able to take a knockout on this Mewtwo and Mew. If this Heatran can get 6 energy, if he's got a Welder in his hand, he can make it happen, but I don't think that he does. Looks like Barlow is just going to be happy to swing in with a Steaming Stomp for 130 damage. Kyle now has that Pokegear in his hand as well as Bill's Analysis. He's just going to go for Bill's Analysis off the top, looking for somebody to copy anything. He does find Acrobike and I believe a Welder. Acrobike will allow him to look at the top 2 cards of his deck. He could potentially discard a Pokemon that way. But with no real attackers in the discard pile or on the bench, this Mewtwo and Mew is just a sitting duck with nothing going on. If Andrew Barlow can 2-hit KO this Mewtwo and Mew this quick, Kyle is really going to be on the back foot. Looks like Kyle will use Giant Hearth. Get 2 fire energies out of his deck. And then plays Acrobike. Looking at the top two, needs to discard a Pokemon that he can attack with. He finds Naganadel GX in the discard. So could deal 170 damage, but he can't get 4 energy onto his Mewtwo and Mew this turn, considering that... Oof. We're switching back to Giratina. Hate to see it. Kyle needs to at least manually attach to a Mewtwo this turn. Like, for sure. There we go. Fire energy onto Mewtwo Mew and a big pass. Pretty sure that is 2 switch down from Kyle Neal, though. So, with both those switches played, really Barlow has time on his side at this point and can just make whatever play he wants. I mean, if he wants to pass, he can pass. He doesn't have to escalate this game. He doesn't have to take the knockout on the Giratina. He could just wait until his board position is a little bit more favorable. He knows that Kyle isn't doing anything too quickly here. Barlow's going to shuffle up his deck after a Giant Hearth. His hand is full of fire energy and a couple Pokemon communications. Doesn't really have anything going on in this hand. Even if you were to find a Pokemon, it would be pretty tough because he's got so much fire in his hand, you'd hate to discard it all. But we see just a 4th fire energy making its way onto the Giratina. And Barlow going to take that knockout. Sure enough, he does find a Cherish Ball off of his prizes. So he's going to be off to the races this next turn. Kyle promotes a fresh Mewtwo and Mew. And is going to look to potentially suit that up with some energy here. Throws 2 onto the Mewtwo Mew to draw 3 cards. And still needs to get a relevant attacker into the discard pile. He's looking at that discard pile. He ain't got nothing going on in there. A Naganadel GX not quite going to cut it. So he's got this Mewtwo Mew stranded in the active with no attackers in the discard pile. Usually you like to... Oh, I would hate to see this. Retreat into the other Mewtwo Mew. And then, what do we got? This feels rough. He's got a Magcargo GX in the discard pile. I can't really wrap my mind around why we should have retreated that Mewtwo. I think just keeping the other Mewtwo in the active position made a lot more sense with the 2 fire on it. But here we are. Got Mewtwo and Mew in the active with 130 damage on it. Really hoping that he's taking a knockout here. I mean, we got Magcargo GX, but I don't think that he is. I have to take a look at that Magcargo. Take a better look at its attack. Lava Flow. We discard any fire energy attached to this Pokemon? My monitor's a little bit bad. Once during, let's see. Discard any amount of fire energy, basic energy attached to this Pokemon's attack does 50 more damage for each card you discard in this way. So it could deal 200 damage. So he did discard the 3, leaving 1 Psychic. He could have just left the clean Magcargo in the active, or the clean Mewtwo in the active, though. And done it with the clean Mewtwo. So he didn't actually need to retreat to make that play happen. Which is, I think, the rough part. But speaking of rough, Barlow has got himself a Dedenne GX. And he's Dedenneing this whole hand of fire energy away. All he wants is to get an attacker going. Looks like he's going to use Stellar Wish. Finds a Welder Pokemon Communication, and a Turtonator. Pokemon Communication can allow Barlow to get the attacker that he wants to Welder onto. I'm not sure. He does have Welder in his hand. And Barlow is going to go for that Pokemon Communication. Digging for an attacker, we see multiple switches. And Andrew Barlow is going for the Reshiram and Charizard GX. Barlow's got a reset stamp in his hand as well as Welder here. He's counting the fire energies in his discard pile. Barlow really needs to find a switch. He can still find a switch off of the Welder when he plays it. He's getting just a single fire energy out of his deck, making sure that he's not out of fire energies completely. And he's going to use Welder, throwing his fire energy onto Reshiram Charizard. Finds a switch, but he doesn't have a third fire. I think he's out. He must be out of fire energy, right? Like, did Barlow just play himself? Because I think if he could have found another energy, he would have, right? I don't know. Is Barlow out of energy right now? It's like my biggest question. I think his deck is out. He just used Giant Hearth for 1, right? Meaning that since he only had 2 fire energy, that those 2 fire energy had to go on to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so Barlow's got 10 energy accounted for. That's not that much. So he should still have more fires left in the deck. I just thought I only saw him go for 1 fire off the Giant Hearth, which was confusing to me. So he's probably fine. Looks like Kyle here has got the Latios and a Mewtwo from Unbroken Bonds. He's going to bench, throw that Welder onto the top of the deck. Fire Energy going on to his active Mewtwo and Mew, and a Day-Day Change, guaranteeing himself that Welder draw off the top. Discarding that Family Charizard GX from Hidden Fates as well. Kyle's still in a pretty decent spot here. Despite everything that's gone down, he's still out here cooking. That Mewtwo and Mew in the active, got 3 energy. He's got to draw his cards. Don't draw for the Welder. There we go. Very good. Very good, Kyle. Excellent. And then we'll use Cherish Ball. Search his deck for a GX. Maybe find a good GX to discard and copy with Mewtwo and Mew tag team. Looks like he's just going to grab Dedenne GX, maybe give himself some draw for the upcoming turn. And then I'm interested to see which attack he decides to copy with his Mewtwo and Mew tag team GX this turn. 3 energy on it, 1 psychic. He's got a lot of options available from his deck. He could manually attach as well. Well, he must have tag purged, I assume. Copying the Latios GX on his bench. Looks like Barlow does have plenty of fire crystals in his deck. So even though he's got a lot of fire energy in the discard pile, he's got fire crystals as an option and is going to be able to retrieve his fire energy from the discard pile with those fire crystals. Searching for a Dedenne GX off of Cherish Ball now. Just going to ship this hand and just draw 6 more cards. Definitely want to see that Little Blacephalon benched here. But he's discarding it. I don't see why you don't just bench the Little Blacephalon. Seems like a good choice for taking out Mewtwo and Mews. But that's just my opinion. Do have Cherish Ball. And I think that Barlow is out of fire in the deck. In order to get fire back, he needs to find a fire crystal. And his Jirachi just got knocked out. So he can't actually find a fire crystal. He just used a Dene, and Dene changed. And is in this bottom portion of his deck. And just has no energy. He must have prized 2 or 3 fire energy as well. I just think he's got to pass. He's just passing with this Dedenne GX in the active position. And Kyle is in a really good spot now. He's chilling. Like, the Solgaleo GX makes its way into the discard pile. And he's like, all right, it's fine. I could just use Tag Purge over and over and over again. And that's kind of just where he's at. Latios GX putting in some work here. I disagree with Barlow's putting all of this energy onto the Charizard. This to me seemed like probably one of the weakest places to locate this energy. It really opened up the board for Kyle to just Tag Purge a lot. I mean, Barlow does have an option to eventually knock out this Mewtwo with a GX, like a Double Blaze GX, but you would hate to hit 130 damage Mewtwo with a Double Blaze GX for 6 energy. That just seems ridiculous. So Barlow is eventually going to have to, I guess, gust up something and hit it. But it looks like Kyle is just going for he's going for Turbo Strike. He wants more energy in play. Oh my gosh, Kyle really taking a risk there, and Andrew Barlow top decks the Fire Crystal. Absolutely what he needed. Crazy swing turn here for Barlow. He top decks that Fire Crystal like a champ. And now is going to be able to get that energy that he needs onto the Reshiram and Charizard. Drawing 3 cards in the process. Finds Palpad and a Fiery Flint, which does him absolutely no good. He ain't got no fire energy in that deck. So, 2 Welders making their way back into the deck with Palpad. Then I'm assuming we're going to see Barlow just retreat this Dedenne manually. And then Barlow's going to take 3 prizes. He's knocking out this Mewtwo and Mew with a Reshiram and Charizard, doing it the old-fashioned way. So let's see what we got here. Reshiram and Charizard suited up, ready to go. And I suspect that Barlow prized a bunch of fire energy. So when he does rip these 3 prizes off the Mewtwo and Mew, he's going to be finding himself some fire energy off of those prizes. We had only accounted for about 10 energy in Andrew's deck, and it was clear that he was out. And what's crazy is that Kyle is actually set up for game with the new Charizard GX. If he just has Welder onto this Mewtwo and Mew, if he can get 2 more Fire Energy onto Mewtwo and Mew this turn, he could win. But I think that Kyle might be out of Fire Energy. He's got a lot of Fire Energy in the discard pile, guys. We have seen a lot of energy make its way into the discard pile with Kyle's deck. He's got a Welder. If he had Fire in deck, he could just use Giant Hearth, Welder onto this Mewtwo and Mew, and win. But I don't think he has it. I think he's out of Fire Energy. I know I see a Welder in that hand. Let's take a look at the deck. I don't see a single Fire Energy in that deck, guys. Not a single one. Kyle is completely out of fire. Completely out. He can't do it. All he needs is 1 more Fire Energy to be able to Welder to his Mewtwo Mew and take a 300 damage knockout with the new Charizard GX from Hidden Fates in his discard pile. But I think he is out of energy. That new Charizard GX has been absolutely insane in these Mewtwo and Mew decks. I've seen it all over the PTCGO ladder, all over the place. 4 energy is just so easy to get on a Mewtwo and Mew, but we see that this thing has only got 3 energy on it. Not going to be able to do that Flare Blitz GX. So he's just got a Tag Purge, I think. But Barlow at this point is surely going to have a way to gust around this Mewtwo and Mew. Andrew Barlow just needs a Welder and double Fire. He's even got custom catchers, bringing up the Dedenne GX. And we're going to see a Tag Purge here. Barlow knows that this is his time to shine. He's got it. All Barlow needs is Welder to his Reshiram Charizard in the active position. He's got the Fire Crystal already, and he's playing fast. You know he's got it. He's bringing up the benched Mewtwo and Mew. And that's going to be it. Andrew Barlow takes game with Reshiram and Charizard GX. Moving on to 3-0 here at the Full Grip Games League Tournaments. Reshiram and Charizard. We see Charizard all over the place in this metagame. We got the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates. We got Reshiram and Charizard from Unbroken Bonds. Mewtwo and Mew able to copy both in the Welder Box deck. And then, of course, in Cosmic Eclipse, we've got the new Braixen and Charizard GX tag team coming out as well. Tons of Charizards left and right. And it is easily one of the best cards. Fire is definitely one of the best types in the Pokemon trading card game right now. Absolutely everywhere. Completely ubiquitous. Everybody's playing it. And it's easy to see why. These decks are very aggressive, very powerful, and some of the only decks capable of dealing 300 damage to take out the most popular tag team Pokemon. So we're going to get Andrew Barlow back here to talk a little bit about his 3rd round win here at the Full Grip Games League Tournament. We'll be right back. Andrew Barlow here, just won round 3 of the Full Grip Games League Tournament. How you doing, Andrew?
Good.
Good stuff, man. Saw you rocking that Reshiram and Charizard. Decided to pack up Malamar for the week?
For the week, yeah.
Yeah, you still like the deck, though?
Yes, it's fun. It's just, the games can get grindy.
Yes, for sure. Now, speaking of grindy games,
Yes.
had a little bit of a grindy game there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened with your energy situation?
Yeah, I just seemingly got all the energy in my hand. The first off the draw, off the mulligan, I got Jirachi. I mistakenly put it down because I thought I would have drawn into some way to find a Pokemon to make use of the 3 PCOMs I had in my hand.
but nothing.
Nothing. I proceeded to top deck fire energy. And, like, at that point, I didn't want a Hearth because I knew I only had a couple left.
Right.
But I drew it anyway.
And you couldn't afford to just discard all of them. Yeah. Right.
Well, I could have a little bit because the list I'm running is the updated list from Birmingham, so it has the 4 Fire Crystal.
Got it.
So,
is that the Sheffield Regional Championships?
Yes, Sheffield.
Okay. Yeah, so from Sheffield, Robin Schultz playing the 4 Fire Crystal in that Reshiram Charizard deck. Gives you a little bit more flexibility. Sure. And were you worried there about your ability to close out that game at all?
For a little bit, yes, because it was... I was counting his energy. I'm like, well, he has all...
He was 1 short.
Yes, he was 1 short. And I'm like, he probably prized the thing he needed in the last 3 prizes.
Right.
And it's just like, I had to play for that risk just because...
He had a huge hand. He had Welder in the hand. He had 1 Psychic Energy in the hand. And we saw he went into his deck with a Cherish Ball, and there was no fire in that deck. So even the Giant Hearth was there. If there was a fire energy in his deck, he would have got it. But nothing. So both of you just completely tapped on energy there. Definitely an exciting finish. Now, Saul, in the middle of the game, you decided to put 2 energy on your Reshizard. You put all your chips on Reshizard to close out that game. Talk to us a little bit about your decision to do that.
Well, I knew since I had discarded all my energy, I needed my energy to stick around. So the Turtonator and the Blacephalon weren't great because that meant I needed to hit multiple Fire Crystals.
Sure.
Where if at least went on the Reshizard, I only needed 1 more.
Yep.
So that was like the big decision there, and it was just...
That makes sense.
Thankfully, it paid off.
For sure. And you do know that Reshizard does have that 1 chance to go through a Tag Purge GX as well. So, like, it wasn't... it's kind of like some reassurance. You knew that your energy wouldn't get knocked out right away, and you still do have that option to Tag Purge if you eventually find enough energy to do so.
Yes.
Excellent stuff. Well, congrats on 3-0, Andrew, and good luck in your final round.
All right, thank you.
Players are flipping to see who goes first, and, you know, I mean, my deck is on stream, so I got to be pulling for Pikarom here. We'll see which player ends up going first in this final round. This should be a close matchup from what I've seen. I think that Pikarom is... I mean, I'm biased. I think Pikarom has a pretty good time against ability Reshizard for the most part. But like I said, I'm definitely biased. So, we'll see who ends up coming out on top in this final round of the league tournament. Players are shaking hands, and it looks like Barlow is going first, with Brady starting Pikarom, Barlow starting with a lone Vulpix. He does have Giant Hearth and Welder in his hand. He can go for that Cherish Ball. He can get himself a Reshiram and Charizard out of the deck if he wants to start piling energy onto Reshizard. That is a fine option for him. Looks like he is going for that full art Reshiram and Charizard on his bench. He's got the Giant Hearth too, so see if he goes back into the deck real quick with Giant Hearth. He's got a skateboard and a switch too, so if he can find himself a Jirachi, he is ready to go and start using Stellar Wish, which is just a fantastic start for him. No clue what's in Brady's hand at this point, but he is going to have to go toe-to-toe with this Reshizard deck that is getting a very strong start. Turn 1 Welder onto Reshizard, exactly what you want to see here. Finds himself a Stamp, Fire Energy, and a Heat Factory. He can get an even more explosive draw here off of the Heat Factory if he chooses, but Barlow going to be a little conservative here, not going for the Heat Factory, just going to save it for next turn, and he's hoping that his Giant Hearth stays through the turn, but we see that Brady has got a Thunder Mountain Prism Star in his hand already. So Barlow actually has no fire energy in his hand, and his only way to draw cards is that Heat Factory. So if Brady can take that Giant Hearth away from Andrew this turn, Brady is going to cut out that draw option from Barlow completely. And we see Brady going for the radar and a lightning energy off of that Volkner. He's going to be able to throw some energy into the discard pile. Also pitching a custom catcher there. Getting himself a Dedenne. And maybe we'll see a Pikarom, a Raichu, or a Zeraora. Hard to say what his second choice will be. Looks like he's grabbing that Rainbow Rare Zeraora GX. And it would be completely epic if we could see a big turn 1 tag bolt for 290 this turn. It happens. It happens more than you would think. Oh, I forgot to update the round, guys. That's my bad. This is round 4. Always something. He's got a lightning energy. He's got the Thunder Mountain. There's Zeraora and 3 Electro Powers. All hitting the bin. Brady desperately needs Tapu Koko and an energy switch. That's a lot to ask. He does find Jirachi, though. And this could be real tough if Brady doesn't find a way, and I don't think he does. I don't think he's found a way to get an attack this turn. It's not happening. Has to go for the Stellar Wish. Being down 3 Electro Powers, I will say he can definitely still win with 3 Electro Powers down. He only needs 1 in this matchup. You only need 1 Electro Power in this matchup because you need it for the Raichu and Raichu to take a 1-hit knockout on Reshizard. Other than that, you can just full blitz twice, and that gets you there. Brady carefully considering his Stellar Wish here. He's going to go for Energy Switch, so he's got almost everything. He just needs the Tapu Koko Prism Star, and that is one of the tough parts about going second in this matchup, is that he does not get to do that turn 2 full blitz. You know, turn 2 full blitz going first is just so stunning, so powerful. Turn 2 full blitz going second, I mean, then Barlow has a whole chance. And top decks the Jirachi. This is an insane top deck for Barlow. His hand was dead otherwise. Top decking that Jirachi, getting him the Dedenne GX, means that Andrew Barlow could very well draw the cards that he needs to bring up that Pikarom and knock it out this turn. That would be absolutely devastating for Brady. The Thunder Mountain Prism Star going down. Brady doesn't mind. Honestly, that hand he was sitting on was kind of trash, so he's cool leaving that hand behind. The triple Electro Power in the bin, though. You hate to see that. We'll see what Andrew gets off of his 6 cards from Dedenne GX. Both players drawing 6 here. Brady's going to need some real fancy footwork here to pull this one off. It looks like Barlow doesn't actually find a welder, I don't think. He's got himself Jirachi back. And I don't think I see a welder in that hand. So we're not going to get any more fire energy. And I don't think he has a fire either, which means that he's stuck until next turn. And what's crazy is that, yeah, I mean, he's just going to outrage for 6. He's not even taking a prize. That's great news for Brady. Not only does he not lose a prize, he gets to hang on to his energy. Everything. This is everything Brady could have possibly wanted here. Now these Reshizard decks are no longer playing any healing. So all Brady has to do is find a way to attack with Pikarom this turn. If he can do that, he's in a pretty decent spot. Brady plays a lot of reset stamps in this deck. He's got the escape board in his hand, so he's got the free retreat on Jirachi. He just needs to full blitz into a Raichu this turn. If he can full blitz this turn, he's pretty much squared away, but I don't think he actually has a way to get the Tapu Koko Prism Star into play right now. Looks like Brady's thinning down his hand, going for a Lily here. Just gets Lily for 3. And has got a Dedenne GX. If he finds the Pokecom here, he's good to go. And it looks like he's eyeing up a Radar, potentially. Not where you want to be here. He's in a real rough spot. Still unable to find that Pokemon communication. And we're not going to see a turn 2 full blitz from Brady. And he's just going to pass. Hoping that Barlow doesn't get the 6 energy Reshizard this turn. That's a big ask. Barlow's got the Fire Crystal. He can bring some of those fire energies back. Slap one on to Reshizard. He can also just Heat Factory. Since that Heat Factory did not go uncountered. He's got the Giant Hearth. Now all he needs to do is find a Welder. He can counter his own Heat Factory. Which goes into the Lost Zone, Barlow. And then, there it is. Yeah. Got it. And then Barlow's just going to be digging for that Welder. He needs Welder. And if he can get 4 Fire and Welder, he's in there. But looks like he's going for Fire Energy now. He doesn't have the Welder in his hand yet. And Brady has just been passing with these Jirachis active. I mean, that's one of the strengths of playing the Jirachi version, is that you can just sit behind these Jirachis and bide your time, just wait for the right moment. And if Andrew is not able to get the 6 energy double custom catcher play, or not double custom catcher, Ninetales play, double fire, then the ball's back in Brady's court. You know, if he just has to take a single knockout on a Jirachi this turn. Oh, it looks like Andrew's just going for Zeraora. Tell you what, Brady does not care about this at all. He's already got a Jirachi with an escape board in play. This list plays 4 switches. So Andrew is just going to be using Flare Strike here to knock out this Zeraora. And is going to try and put himself in a situation where he can maybe eventually knock out this Pikarom next turn. Barlow does rip the switch here, so he's going to be able to switch into that Jirachi if he wants to, but he doesn't want to. Brady promptly promoting that Jirachi with the escape board, and we're going to see what he can cook up this turn. It's all about Brady here. He's got to use that full blitz to hit into the Reshizard and throw some energy on to a benched Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX. We'll see. Hopefully that Raichu is not prized. Now, I think Brady would be in a great spot to use Reset Stamp here. He plays 2 Reset Stamps. You can Reset Stamp once and just hope that Andrew Barlow doesn't have a way to get Welder Double Fire onto this Reshizard, so that it doesn't knock out the Pikarom. And Brady's got a big old hand, but it's like weirdly kind of not good. I think Brady may have actually prized both his other GXs. I don't think Brady actually has another Tag Team GX in his deck. He only plays 3. It's just Pikarom and Raichu and the other Pikarom. And I have a sneaking suspicion that both of them are prized. Unless one of them's in his hand right now. I didn't see any in his deck. That means Brady needs to reset stamp. And he is gonna stamp. Because he needs this Pikarom to go the distance. He's got no other plays going on. I mean, what is he going to do? Full Blitz onto a Dedenne? That's horrible. So he may have to go in and Full Blitz to himself. And as it is right now, Andrew Barlow doesn't have it. So Brady, will the Madman Full Blitz to himself? He prized everything. I'm pretty sure he prized Tapu Koko. He prized Raichu. No, don't do it, Brady. No. Do it to yourself, Brady. Oh, accelerate to yourself. Go for it. Be honest, Brady. If this Pikarom goes down, you ain't winning this game anyway. You might as well Full Blitz to yourself. Go for the 5 prize turn, dog. Go for the 5 prize turn. Andrew Barlow top decks a switch. Top decks a switch. Is going to get to Stellar Wish for a welder here. First, it's going to thin his deck using Giant Hearth. I think Brady needed to be all or nothing on this play. He needed to have all 6 energy on that active Pikarom. Gotta go for that Tag Bolt GX. Sometimes it's the most irresponsible play, but when your prizes are that bad, Brady prized his Tapu Koko Prism Star. He prized both Alolan Raichu GX and his other Pikarom, and his Zeraora got knocked out. He's got literally nothing else going on. Does Barlow find the welder here? We've got the suspenseful prize draw. Or the suspenseful draw. He does not. I don't think he's got it. Brady may live to see another turn here. Now he's played a switch. He doesn't have another Jirachi in play, so switch does not get him there. He picks up the Palpad, though, so he is increasing his odds of being able to find welders from here on out. Barlow unable to find his welder to get that 6 energy. Charizard is not going to be able to knock out this Pikarom in one swing. Now imagine if Brady had Full Blitz to the active. Imagine it. Brady, you had to do it, bro. You had to Full Blitz to the active. You would have taken so many prizes. Oh, Brady. He would have taken a 5 prize turn, dude. Oh, no. And now Andrew Barlow is taking out the Dedenne. No, Brady, no. Oh, it's so brutal. All right, Brady. You got to stamp your man to 2 and Full Blitz this dude for knockout. That's what we got. Imagine if he got all 6 energy were on the Pikarom, dude. Imagine. He'd take a 5 prize turn. Oh. Imagine this play right here. Reset stamp, Tag Bolt, Jirachi, and Charizard. Imagine this play. Reset stamp to 2. Take out Charizard and Jirachi. What's he got? He would have nothing. Barlow would have nothing. Brady desperately needs a second reset stamp. I hope it's in the deck. He's going to play Volkner after taking a look with the Giant Hearth. He's got the second reset stamp. Let's go, Brady. It's going down. Stamp to 2. And if Brady could find Power Plant, that would be the real gas. Counter that Giant Hearth. Get it out of there. Play Power Plant. and shut this whole show down. Even a Lysander Labs, either of his other stadiums would be brilliant right now. Did Andrew Barlow never shuffle his welders in? I guess that's what Barlow's doing. Barlow played Palpad, never shuffled welders in. He's like, oh yeah, as I'm about to get stamped at 2, I should, yeah, I forgot I never put these in, I guess. I'm sure Natalie's there. She's a table judge. She probably caught that. Oh, he was showing the welders he got off his prizes. Got it. He had prized a couple. That makes sense. Brady does find stadium nav. He's going to be going for that counter stadium here. Gets a heads. So he's going to get the stamped to 2 power plant play. Absolutely insane. He's actually deciding, do I want to go with Lysander Labs or power plant? He's got them both. Let's see, Brady reset stamp Barlow to 2. He's got the knockout. Just accelerate to the active now, Brady. You've got it. Just put it all on the active, Brady. Manually attach, bro. Put it on. Man, I don't even think Brady didn't even manually attach this turn, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, Pika Rom. 6 energy Rom in the active. Lysander Labs stadium in play. Barlow's got a hand of 3 and does not have free retreat. He's got a fire crystal. We'll see if he can find a welder here off of the Stellar Wish, and he whiffs. But he finds a Cherish Ball. He can go for a Dedenne GX here, but he still doesn't have the free retreat. And if he does Dedenne GX, he doesn't have enough room to put an attacker down. He would have to go in with Turtonator, which opens up the door for Brady to be able to win. All he has to do is tag bolt for game. That's it. If Barlow uses Day-Day Change, he's not going to be able to put an attacker onto the bench. And Turtonator with 4 energy will never get there. Also, since Brady doesn't have any GXs on his bench, Andrew is not going to be able to gust anything up. Barlow's going to ship his hand with that Day-Day Change. He still doesn't have free retreat because of the Lysander Labs. And I don't think Barlow has a counter stadium. He doesn't have anything. No welder. Still no welder. And Brady's got it. He could tag bolt GX for 3 prizes and clean it up. That's it. Barlow drew nothing. He couldn't even get the Jirachi out of the active, and Brady has got tag bolt for game, and that's it. Brady emerging victorious with busted Pikarom, dude. Brady prized his Tapu Koko Prism Star. He prized his Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX. He prized his other Pikarom. There was only one Pikarom, just one, to win that whole game against Reshizard. Brady had to Day-Day Change away 3 Electro Powers in his opening hand. He was playing that entire game with only 1 Electro Power and going second and still won because Tag Bolt GX busted attack. So he got there. Crazy game, super hype. I don't mean to root for anyone in particular, but, you know, we got my boy Pikarom on the table and, you know, Brady at the wheel. I can't help but get excited. So we're going to get Brady back here for an interview, talk about how he felt with Pikarom, the deck that he previously disliked. All right. Brady. All right, 4-0.
Yeah.
with the busted ROM, dude. All right, tell us a little bit about your tournament experience.
So round 1, I played against. What did I play against round 1? Let me think. We'll come back to that. Round 2, I played against Jesse playing Ability Zard.
Beat him.
Yeah, beat him.
Okay.
And then round 3, I played against Orlando playing Dark Box. Beat him.
Got there.
And then just beat Barlow on stream. What did I play against round 1? Man.
Was it a fire deck? Was it a non-GX deck?
Oh, I played against Ability Zard, and I donked of all picks. That's why I don't remember, because it was one turn.
So we got there. You had some pretty insane prizes in that final game.
Yeah, I priced Pika and the second Pika and the Raichu.
So all chips were on single Pika Rob.
Right.
And because he knocked out your Zero Aura. That's the only other dude who does damage. So were you nervous at all about being able to pull this game off?
Extremely, yeah. After I whiffed the attack on the first turn, after like playing all the Electro Powers, I was like, I think you just win, Barlow.
I was saying it, like the way that matchup actually plays out, you only need one Electro Power usually to win the game, because you'll 2-hit with Pikarom, or you'll hit once with Pikarom and then like reset Stamp to low and just like use Tandem Shock to take the knockout, and then you only need the one E-Power to like Lightning Ride GX for game.
Right.
But Lightning Ride is never happening, so you had to take another route. When did you kind of see your opening was going to be to Tag Bolt and Reset Stamp?
I just knew I had to keep Reset Stamping in, because if he just like keeps Weldering, I just lose, because he just gets 6 energy on the guy and it's over.
It's over.
Right. So yeah, I just knew. Well, like I guess I could have you were saying, I could have Tag Bolt or Full Blitz to the active the turn earlier. Because like the Dedenne is probably not gonna really do it for me. But
scary though. I mean, you're stamping to 4.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, But like, to be honest, in that situation, it's like totally do or die. Because like, if you're left with a 2 energy Dedenne, you lose that game anyway, bro.
Probably,
like you got all your Electro Powers are gone. You're not gonna clean them up with the Dedenne.
Right.
But that was crazy. So, not a fan of Pikarom previously, but now you're 4-0. Your first time you played Pikarom, you said it was the worst tournament experience you had at Full Grip.
For sure. Like by far.
And this one you went 4-0, so are you coming around a little bit?
Yeah, I mean this list feels pretty good. I like it.
Okay.
It's like consistent, does what it wants. More often than like pretty much any other deck. It's just like the actual like power level is like a little lower than most of the Welder decks, but like it's a little more consistent than those.
The versatility is nice,
right.
And being able to just sit behind Jirachis when you don't quite have what you want is like really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get to play, I feel like, you comfortably sit with like 2 Jirachis in play, where Abilities Art doesn't usually get to comfortably sit with 2. They
got
may
9
1.
tails and like 2
Yeah, usually they get 1. So, all in all, awesome tournament run, dude. Fantastic final round, and congrats on your win.
Thank you.
All right, guys, and that does it for the Full Grip Games League Tournament. Pikarom winning the whole thing at the hands of Brady Botner, taking down multiple Reshiram Charizard decks en route to his victory. Very cool to see indeed. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. Thank you guys all for the bits. All that Chris, JB Gamble, and Blizzy memes on that bit leaderboard tonight. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Everybody who subbed. We had SizeBot gifting a bunch of subs to the channel tonight, and a bunch of other subs and Twitch Prime subs. Big shout out to everybody. So remember their Twitch Prime subs this month, and everybody who subbed up to the channel. Thank you guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the new sub badges and new emotes. Props to Maury Draws for hanging out with us a little bit tonight as well. Big props to Maury for doing an incredible job with all of our new emotes. You can go to fullgripgames.com if you're interested in trading in your bulk for a booster box of Cosmic Eclipse. Pre-orders, Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes go out October 28th, I believe, the end of October. Can't wait for the pre-releases for that set. The set looks super dope, so that should be awesome. Or if you're looking to trade bulk for booster boxes, Unified Minds, Unbroken Bonds, we got that too. Head on over to fullgripgames.com, check it out. Also, a great place for all your TCG singles. We are going to be rating Flex Daddy tonight. Thank you guys all for being here. Make sure to say hi to JW. You guys rock. I'll catch you tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. All right, I've got a meeting at 10, so I can't be there. 11:30 a.m., about noon to 4, we're going to be streaming tomorrow. All right, we still got that 4-hour stream. Say hi to JW for me, and make sure to spread the love. Take it easy. Peace.